First up, Liverpool missed the chance to return to the top of the Premier League after a goalless draw at Anfield. It's the first time this season Liverpool have failed to win at home, with Virgil van Dijk saying only one team tried to win, while Jurgen Klopp thought his side dominated more than in last season's 7-0 hammering of United. I mean, it was a strange game, was it? A strange atmosphere as well at Anfield. The record number of people there for all those years. You would have thought against United, the crowd would have been in there and on top of them. So what was this about? Too much expectation on Liverpool going into this one, and the result last season, did that have a bearing?
Well, I think before the game, you probably looked at it and you thought, well, Manchester United low in confidence, out of the Champions League, the poor performance against Bournemouth, the way that Liverpool have sort of found a way to win. So you thought, actually, it's a good time for Liverpool to play Manchester United at home because of Liverpool's home record. And I just felt Liverpool were the better side. They had so much possession. They had so many opportunities to score. And I think the thing that let them down really was the quality in the final third, which is something that we haven't said about Liverpool. We've said how good they are in the final third and the quality attacking players that they've got and the ability to, you know, if things aren't quite going right, they've got that individual brilliance. But they just couldn't find that. It was maybe when they should have shot, they could have passed and vice versa, taking that extra touch and just not being clinical. So I think they'll probably reflect on the game and go, how did we not win that? And you think if they'd have scored one, Manchester United would have come out, which then probably would have created more opportunities for Liverpool. So I think when they reflect on the game, they'll probably say we just had to be clinical in front of goal.
Jay, I mean, the stats are 34 shots, 12 corners, but no goals for Liverpool.
I mean, you look at that performance and you say Liverpool absolutely dominated that game. They passed the ball around. They was always in control. I think it's more of a bad performance in front of goal than a very resilient performance from Man United. Man United were fortunate. They rode their luck. But Man United, apart from Hojlund's chance, they never looked like scoring, really. I think this was a game that Liverpool should go away from thinking, you know, we've lost 2 points there. And like you said, I think we've seen from Liverpool this season where they grind results out. They've been grinding results out. They might nick a goal right at the end. But today, I mean, to be honest, I thought it was going to come.
Yeah.
You know, I had Liverpool winning this like 4-0. 5 after last season, the way Man United are playing this season, I had them at that kind of performance, but it just wasn't to be. I think when you look at it, like 34 shots, 8 shots on target, you know, it wasn't great. 12 corners, even though Van Dijk had a really good header and Nunez saved it, it just wasn't good enough in front of goal. And I always come back to, you know, I don't like getting on certain players, but I always feel like I'm coming back to Nunez because I just feel like I'm not entirely sure what position it is. I mean, you as a winger, right? And it's like, when he plays on the wing, he looks effective because he can make straight runs in between the full-back and the centre-half or down the wing. But when he plays as a striker, you need to be more, you know, your runs need to be curved. You need to have more nous. You need to play off someone. And he doesn't give Liverpool that when he plays in that position. So for me, that was very disappointing. Jota being injured, you know, he seems to, you know, he's playing like a striker. He's clinical in front of goal. He's cool. He can dribble. At the moment, I think when Salah don't score and Luis Diaz is not playing well, they seem to struggle in front of goal.
So struggle in front of goal, but you acknowledge the dominance of the statistics. Right, hold those thoughts, because Roy Keane accused Liverpool and Virgil van Dijk in particular of arrogance after Van Dijk claimed only one team wanted to win. Let's take a listen to this response.
Obviously a lot of arrogance coming out of him, dishing United like that. He needs a reminder himself. He's playing for clubs who won one title in 30-odd years. He said only one team wanted to win. Man United buzzing with the point. Man United are in a difficult place, like Liverpool have been in a difficult place for many a year. So maybe that bit of arrogance backfired on him today.
I don't know if it was arrogance, personally.
That's arrogance.
Now, you never argue with Roy. I think...
Be quiet.
Arrogance.
Daniel, sorry, Daniel, be quiet.
OK, so which are you? Are you Team Virgil or Team Roy in this debate? Was there only one team who wanted to win it? Or was this arrogance expecting Manchester United to go there and allow Liverpool to run all over them? And, in fact, they did quite a good job by keeping them out. Which one are you?
I'm not sure about arrogance, But Man United will be delighted with the point, for sure. But like you said, I do agree with part of what you said. You know, Man United are in a difficult position. They haven't really improved. Even though when Ten Hag went there, they you know, you see certain differences. He got rid of what he would call bad players for the changing room, which, you know, it turned out to be a positive at the beginning. But now when you look at it, I don't think they have an identity. I don't think that, you know, the body language of the players don't look like they're really in tune with his methods. I think the whole situation with Sancho hasn't gone down well with some of the other players in the dressing room, because ultimately Sancho has some friends, close friends in that dressing room. If they think that he's been treated badly, they're going to feel a certain way as well. I do think Roy Keane, though, he does have some valid points. Like, Liverpool went through a tough time for many a year. And the arrogance part, I don't agree with, but the other parts I do.
Yeah, thankfully Roy Keane's not here.
Yeah, exactly,
so I agree.
Here he is, everybody.
No, I don't see an arrogance about Liverpool or about what Van Dijk said, and I totally agree. I think Manchester United are in a difficult position at the moment, and they had to play a certain way, because you think if they had have come out and been all expansive, Liverpool could have torn they could have torn them apart. So I think the fact that it was a good defensive performance from Manchester United, and that's exactly what they had to do to try and stop Liverpool.
We say this, but they still had 34 shots, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I said it's more. I think it's more just poor finishing from Liverpool than good defending. I mean, Varane had a really good game, though.
Yeah, Varane was brilliant. Yeah.
OK, so where does that leave us with Liverpool and their title aspirations? Are they still very much up there for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've praised them previously, where we've said they've had that I suppose, character and fight to come back in games and win games. Crystal Palace, for example, when they're not actually playing that well, they do something, whether that's Klopp changes something, brings Harvey Elliott on. Yes, they had a player advantage, but they've done things to be able to win games. They're still a work in progress. They're still developing. You know, they've had to rebuild that midfield, so that's going to take time. The Trent Alexander-Arnold coming into midfield, a hybrid role. That's not just him learning that position. That's all of the players around him learning how to cover. So they're a team that are certainly building. I think yesterday, you know, if Liverpool had won that 1-0, 2-0, I think we'd all be saying Liverpool are still in the title race. But now, because it's 0-0, we're sort of going, but I still think they're there.
I'll tell you what I would be saying. If Liverpool had won yesterday, I think a lot of people would be calling for Ten Hag's job this week. I think when I look at Liverpool, you can't count them out. I mean, you look at Man City now. Man City are doing what they always done, really, aren't they? They're not playing well at the beginning part of the season, but when it comes to the business end, they're putting 15, 16 wins together, and they end up like being in control. Again, with Arsenal, I think it's between Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City for sure. I definitely wouldn't count out Liverpool. I think they've got so much quality. I like the midfield they've got now. They've made some really good additions with Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. I think they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, you just think they're going to get better, don't you? You know, the more that they play together, the more they get used to those roles and develop, I think they'll only improve. So I think Liverpool, they're in a good position at the moment. You think with them kicking on, that they're bound to be there or thereabouts.
Do you think they're going to look to bring some players in at Christmas? Or in a new year?
Maybe. I suppose it's hard, isn't it? Because I think you look at all of the teams in and around the top half, you look at all the teams in and around the bottom, and you go, well, depending where they are, is it an opportunity to then? I just think Liverpool with a holding midfielder, a top-class holding midfielder, I just think that would, be the icing on the cake, if you like. But is there going to be one available at that time?
I think all of those teams are looking for players, though. I think Arsenal will be looking at a striker. I think Man City is going to be looking at players. He doesn't, he's already said he doesn't fancy Calvin Phillips in their squad. So I think they'll be looking for some additions there, and then obviously Liverpool as well. And I look at Liverpool and I think they do need like a real number 9 that's going to get them like 15, 20 goals a season. Like, previously they had Mane and Salah that were scoring like 15, 20, 30 goals a season. Now they only have Salah that's, prolific. I think they just need one more to like really kick on.
So do you not think Nunez is the answer?
No, I don't. I just think he misses a lot of chances. In my opinion, me being a forward, I think he's more of a reactive striker. Okay. If he doesn't have to think about a chance, if he doesn't have a one-on-one, I think he'll score those kind of chances. The ones at Newcastle, he didn't really think about it, he just hit them. Yeah. But I think the chances where he's got time in front of goal, Like even when, he goes around the keeper and hits a post. I mean, it is laughable when you see it back. I just don't think he's clinical. I don't think that he's going to ever be that striker at Liverpool where he will score like 20, 30 goals. He did it at his previous club. I think he scored like 20, 23 and 26, which is unbelievable. And I think that's what got him the move. But at Liverpool, it just doesn't look like it's happening for him.
This is a football show. Let's get more, shall we, on Liverpool's draw with Manchester United. And after back-to-back defeats, Erik ten Hag was impressed with his players' resilience as United became the first team this season to leave Anfield with a point.
Football's never perfect, but the way we defended, it was almost perfect, I would say. And when we make a mistake, there was always a teammate to sort it out, to support each other, and to cover each other. And so I think that's the big win from today. But we have to keep this, and we have to bring this in every game.
I have to bring this in every game. But what I'm sensing from both of you two is that the resilience, perhaps, Erik ten... Because, Jay, let's come to you. What you were saying is...
I'm not harsh.
No, what you're saying is it's hard to work out whether that was a really resilient, backs-to-the-wall, great performance from Manchester United or whether Liverpool were just poor in front of goal.
I mean, I'll definitely go with Liverpool poor in front of goal. Let's just say Liverpool go and score something like 5 of them chances. Of them 34 shots, they score 5. They've lost 5-0. OK, it didn't happen yesterday, but I don't think it was great defending. I think it was just, Salah wasn't on blob. They've missed chances. Nunez, there was a chance when... God, I'm talking about Nunez again. There was a chance when he went through on goal and he just stopped. I was...
But he was looking for the penalty, wasn't he?
Yeah, but you don't stop.
I know.
You still got to carry on until you hear the whistle. But again, I just think it was a bad day at the office for Liverpool in front of goal, more than Man United defending, I thought.
Yeah, I think you could probably say combination. I think there was certain times...
You're being so kind, sir.
Yeah, no.
He always is.
But I thought Evans and Varane, obviously a new centre-back pairing. I thought they did well. Pretty patched up side. And I just think it's what Manchester United had to do. I think in the circumstances, the injuries that they've got, the low confidence that they're in at the moment, the losses, they didn't want to go to Anfield and lose 7-0. So they had to just make sure that they were sort of as resilient as they possibly could be. There wasn't much going forward in terms of spark. They had a couple of opportunities, but it was mainly about can we stop Liverpool, and I think they'll be pretty pleased that they got a clean sheet at Anfield. Yeah, I
think they'll be delighted. I tell you what, Bruno Fernandes, as much as we hate his body language, the way dives on the floor when someone goes near his face, I think he works really hard. And if anyone's going to create chances, it always seems to be him. So when he didn't play yesterday, it's almost like who is going to create them chances. And I think that was the part that Man United didn't have yesterday. Yeah. Hojlund had a great chance.
Well, let's talk about Hojlund, shall we? Because you've had your say on Darwin Nunez. So let's look at his opposite number.
People's going to be saying, who's this guy, Ed? Do you think he's R9? No.
But for Rasmus Hojlund, can you see the potential in him and what he will become? So therefore, is there a bit more patience there?
Yeah, I mean, it's his first season in England, playing for Man United. I think what doesn't help him is that he's playing for a team that is very low on confidence. And I think when you look at all the players at Man United, none of them are standing out. You can't go to any of them saying Man United are poor, but he's playing well. No one's playing well. But when I look at his overall game, I think he has more upside. I think he holds the ball really well. He's strong. He's a young lad, but he's got a good touch. He's fast. I think at the moment, obviously in the league, it's just not happening for him. But in the Champions League, he's still scored 5 goals. So for me, I look at him as a player that he will get better. But I think because he's so young, Man United need to bring players around him that's going to help him develop. I don't see those kind of characters in the team now. Roy Keane's there before. You had the likes of Beckham, Scholes. Players like that will help him develop. I don't see that at Man United right now, so I think that's why he's finding it difficult.
Yeah. Once again, Scott McTominay after the game saying the players are fully behind Erik ten Hag. Did that performance perhaps show they are?
It's just inconsistencies, isn't it, with Manchester United? Because I remember after the Newcastle game, we were sort of saying, are the players behind him? I know there was lots of reports saying it doesn't look like it. Newcastle completely dominated them in all areas. Then you watched them against Chelsea and you said, oh, well, actually they are. They've performed really well. And it's just those inconsistencies. It's so difficult with Manchester United to sort of say anything, you know, confidently, because you say, oh, well, yeah, it looks like they are behind them. They worked really hard. They all, you know, they had a plan. They stuck to it. But then you watch them in the next game and will that happen? So it is about getting those consistency. And it's difficult when they've had so many injuries and they've had so many changes. So they've not been able to, I suppose, form any sort of relationships. You want the players that have maybe last season were in form, the likes of Marcus Rashford, getting those in form, Hojlund, young man, getting his goals. So you think once all of that comes into play, then we can maybe start judging a Manchester United.
So, sorry, let me just chirp in there. I think McTominay has actually played well under Ten Hag.
Oh, he has.
I think we've seen goals. He's getting forward. He's been powerful. He actually looks prolific, to be honest. When he gets chances, he seems to score them. But I've never heard a player say, "No, we're not behind him. He needs to go."
Yeah.
So I mean, I look at it from a point of view. Yeah, everyone has to be behind him from the point of view that they want to win games at the end of the day. But I just look at body language. The body language of the players there don't suggest that they are behind him. I see Rashford now. Rashford was amazing last season. Now all of a sudden he's a shadow of himself. He doesn't look engaged.
It's still the same Ten Hag there, isn't it? So what has happened with Rashford that suddenly he's...
That's what makes me feel like
if that's what you're saying is true, and we don't know whether that's true. I have to point that out.
But that's what makes me feel like, you know, Rashford and Sancho are friends by all accounts. They're close. And that's what makes me feel like a lot of players, I think, has been rubbed up the wrong way. From what I understand, and I've heard it from a few people, is that, you know, he's a disciplinarian. And that's fine. But I think because they've got a lot of young players, I think sometimes you need to put your arm around these players now and give them that confidence, encourage them rather than say, oh, you know, you're 2 minutes late. Here's a fine.
But when Rashford was last season away at Wolves and he was dropped to the bench and then he came on and scored, and he took it in good grace, Rashford, didn't he? He said, actually, I put my hands up, I was late for training, I overslept, and the manager was right to do that. So he was kind of accepting it then.
But he was scoring goals then as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I think now the mood is very low, the confidence is very low within the team. And if you've got someone like always on you, I think that doesn't help. I think right now they need to be lifted. They need to, you know, galvanise. They need to get that team spirit back. Because ultimately, if they get that back, they can easily push up the table. They've got players that are good enough where they can do that. And we've seen that. But it's just getting there. I think this is a really, really hard time now for Man United to get back to where they need to get to.
So how can you do it? Sue used the example, didn't you, Sue, of do it in the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
But then go and play Bournemouth. And do what you did there. How does that happen?
I think because they've been so inconsistent, I think they don't have a confidence. I think confidence is massive in football, as you know.
Yeah.
Like when you can go and put in poor performances but still win games, and that's when you're confident. I think with them, they're just inconsistent at the moment. They're not galvanised, like I said. They don't seem like a team that are just clicking. It looks so hard for them to score a goal. That is unrecognisable for me. You know, since I've been on this planet, you know, you always put goals with Man United. They're always exciting teams. They've got exciting players. But just now, it just seems really hard for them to even have really good chances.